Good morning, this beautiful morning. It is Sunday, January 25th. It is 5:23 a.m. out here on the farm. We got to do our videos early to use those first couple hours of light as best we can before it gets too incredibly hot down here in Panama and Central and South America. At our different sites, we have 5 different sites. Check the links below after this video. Like, subscribe, and do your part, guys. Share this phenomenal Back to Nature series with someone, because this is the direction we really all need to go. And this is a huge investment benefit that I think will outperform any stock or Bitcoin or piece of gold, right? Definitely in peace of mind. And there is an opportunity to build incredible, all-natural, biodynamic, advanced innovations in alternative agriculture now in 2026 like there has never been before. Everybody's using the new robots and the new AI technology for lots of different purposes, and we are using these technologies now for the purposes of ecological enhancement. And we have a guerrilla permaculture that was published in the Paris Agreement, and that has evolved into what we're calling the Deep Nutritional Diversity Ecological Enhancement Program. And we've got this all mapped out online in the links below. Please do check it out. Today is an interesting day. We have some current events that I was just privy to waking up about some of the storm weather that's going on out there. Let me mention again that we have retreats down here to show you the nutritional diversity diet, of which after consuming for 10 days, I believe that you, just like every other person who's done it in the thousands now, will say that you feel better than you have in a very, very long time. It's the correct way of eating. It's the correct microbiome inoculant to help you with your healing, your athletic performance. We predict some UFC fighters will be working with us this year. Back to the Back to Nature plan. Right now, people would be really shocked at how little they would need to liquidate up in the north to get great stuff down here in the south, a nice plan B. My team operates in Panama, Costa Rica, Colombia, Argentina, and Brazil. I have sites to invite you down to now. Moving right along, so you can establish alternative agricultures with maxed out species, a high number of species. This is specialized agriculture. It's the correct way of doing agriculture. It's from God's page. Everything growing together in a diverse harmony. It's not monoculture that requires all the chemicals and has all the sprays and machines and detrimental effects to the ecology, detrimental effects to the food, detrimental effects to us. And to get away from a lot of the biological engineering malpractice that's going on and the unnatural systems that are at play. And if there is ever any contaminants generated from that in northern or southern hemisphere, you want to be in the equator zone, coming from a military biological, chemical, and radiological warfare defense specialist and instructor on the subject. I can tell you that those contaminants would start to move back up to their respective poles, northern or southern, from about the 10-degree mark. So in the definitely the 3, 4, 5, and 6 degree marks, we're doing really good. That's also the highest growth rates available in our alternative agriculture endeavors. Right, and you can do these as I've seen a lot of people do these as multi-family units. I've seen people make way better gains and have the plan B and come down and be very extremely thankful that they did this. right? So I am specifically recommending, first of all, small farming. Second of all, small farming in Central and South America. Third of all, where there's less regulations and you can buy more, right? And there's plenty of room for innovation. And I've also seen a lot of people start and then years later sell directly to private cooks and the oligarchies, right? So, you can do this and you can do this well and you can build great equity and a great farm, and you wouldn't believe construction prices. You could do your own place. I'm in a place right now that costed $20K to construct. It's a one bedroom, and then I put this other bedroom on here. There's nobody in it, but there's a bed in there, and it's just because for principle's sake, for dynamic sake, I've always kept an extra room, right? Whether the person wants to show up or use it, I built it. If they come or not, right? I'm a step above Jim Morrison. Just playing. So, but this is definitely the direction that we want to move in. The city is not only, from the space shuttle imagery, mirrors and structure pattern microscopic cancer. Okay, not only that, but it's hard to keep sustainable. And should anything happen, like in the Sean Ryan podcast with the power grid or something like that, you don't want to be in a city, right? During the pandemic, on some of our farms, we could have cared less. Getting out to the farm, important part. Once you're on the farm, right, whatever, cool, right? Don't have a farm, don't know somebody with a farm, don't have a farm that you've been supporting as a loyal client for the last year, several farms, and your nutritional diversity diet composure so that you can think better. You've got a carbon water filter, because this big city piping system should have a service-side filter running, right? The cows, we do a lot of the cow marching at night, right? So that the roads open for us in the daytime. Kind of natural livers. We're biodynamic farmers too, so we really go by all the natural elements as kind of our guide. And when I see that there's going to be vicious ice because of biological malpractice up there where people I love and care about, I guess I should probably at least try by making a video to say, now's the time to come check this out. And if you do make the switch, permanent, completely, you're in paradise. There is mountains down here with cool weathers and a great mist and fantastic chocolate, coffee, honey, and strawberries, and completely, absolutely safe place, even with guard stations and a rather police state, if you ask me, even, but a very, very docile to friendly population, no, really, no super huge, complex, evil schemes like what you're dealing with, like lots of stress relief, lots of just nice attention to incredible nature that is it's like nonstop loving. Can I recommend relationships with horses? Can I recommend having a property large enough for your dogs to run free and happy and have tons of stuff to chase around? And you can have chickens and eggs in your own little garden, and all this stuff goes really well down here. Doesn't that sound nice? At least for a break, and then you got a plan B, and then when you go back a little bit older, I like the burn the boats attack plan on life, right? But as you get a little bit older, if you're a little bit older, you might want to operate with the art of the deal, ability to walk away. It's all right. You know what? I've got a place down in the mountains, the mystic cloud forest, magical mountains. I don't need this. I've got a place in the beach on this beautiful island or whatever, you know what I mean? I don't need this. Where life is cheaper, my money's going to go way more further and I can be productive. Just timing is everything in the fight of life. Where is the fruit ripe? It's not always going to be in a place. It's going to change. The place is going to change. The times, the places. You know, I went to Buenos Aires this last year. Man, I can see why it was in the conversation with New York and Paris, and I can see how it could come right back. But there's so many factors in play there. And if we were to ignore them, well, if we get caught in something, that's kind of on us, right? Anyway, so plan one is to start composting, start building your own soil. That's the first endeavor back into the natural mechanism, to the idea of abundance, to say, oh, wow, now I can use biology in this long known cycle of life. And these scraps I used to treat as waste, I can now make them into value. I'm a little bit better of an alchemist, you could say, in this natural way, where everything I do from this point on, and everything I install, every action and installment, is to serve two or more purposes. I have chickens because I want the eggs and the meat, and I'm going to use their poo in a natural chemical fertilizer solution for this particular plant. I'm going to learn all these different, right? Now that I can bring all these elements and connect all these dots together beautifully into this awesome recipe of diversity as nature shows us, I'm continuously fascinated, and I would like to see more illumination down this path that I'm walking. So we compost our food from now on, which is very easy to do. We just have a 5-gallon bucket, and all the food scraps no longer go in our regular garbage. They go into this, and you have 5 of them, and you can put them out back in a rotation with the lids on. And once they've and over several weeks, depending on your climate and everything, they'll turn into a sludge in there, right? And you can crack the lids on them as you add a new bucket. You crack the lids on the other ones for a minute. Get some wear in there, right? Let it continue to turn into a decomposition, right? And then, once you've got that all 5 buckets full, or whatever your rotation is best at per the size of your family or restaurant or whatever, now you take that last bucket and take it out there and you add it to the compost that's out in nature. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes walking somewhere. Maybe you've got to drive over there. Maybe you're in the urban city right now, but you went and picked out a space in nature. This is part of step 1 if you're in the city, right? Or maybe you're doing this on your balcony. Maybe you're making some kind of advanced, innovative digester. Maybe you're organizing your community into doing community composting. Maybe you're making a business of this, picking up the community's compost and taking the truck of buckets out to the site that you picked out and doing an excellent compost operation. And you're making soil, and then you're bringing it back in to do a community garden, or you're doing the community garden out there, and you're letting, the community participate in that in whatever way. And if you're not doing that, you're supporting someone who is. You know what I mean? You're in bed with the young man with the pickup. Or maybe you donate him the pickup. You know what I mean? Like, definitely if we graduate in nature as we should, we hit a point where our job is clearly to coach the younger ones, and in the right way. Obviously, if we were to coach them in the wrong way, there's a lot of evil potential there, isn't there? But if we coach them in an excellent way, there's a lot of great potential there too. Where do you see the most healthiest, less sick model? It's out in nature. So what we're dealing with right now in societal toxicity, both in biological poisoning and metaphysical, spiritual, whatever poisoning, cultural poisoning, right? Nature's the healing place. I want the people that I love right now to look at the signs. Can you read the signs? Because they're definitely there. And if you can't, I'm screaming, telling you what they say right now. It's time to go back to nature, my friends. So I'll be doing a whole series about the steps beyond home compost, about the steps beyond starting to look right now what you could liquidate some stuff for, what you could get some stuff for. That's as easy as, I mean, what you could get some stuff for is as easy as contacting us in the links below, right? Joining our community, getting together with another group of people who's interchanging special diversity, you are right, and cultivating the best, most strongest genetics. It's obviously the direction we're supposed to be going in. There's a link below to my $14 pamphlet about complete optimization that talks about this entire subject of going back to nature and how we have the prosumer technology now to run biopower centers. See, it's size limits. Everything is both a toxin and a remedy. It's the dose that decides. That's Paracelsus in the 1400s. It's the same thing with our technological installments. If you make a small hydro plant on your little river, on your oh man, listen, guys, I've got turnkey sites ready to go right now that I soldiered out, and I just don't have the partners for yet. That all chart topping. I mean, could be spear tipping agriculture cultivations, spear tipping nature enhancements, natural enhancements that could change the world. Actually, right now, I've got the plans, I've got the robots, I've got the AI stuff started. I'm doing, this is gonna happen. Do you wanna get involved? Share this with someone who does. You know what I mean? Start supporting someone else. Start doing those things that nobody in the herd can do. Support the people right next to you. Forget about the celebrities. Forget about the toxicity. I'm telling you, back to nature to remove yourself from the toxic soup. And you can't assess that while you're standing in it. You've got to at least go to nature to get some clarity here, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? Take it from the naturalist, please, you know. Try it. One way to find out, you know. Don't tell, go do it and tell me you're not thankful that you saw this and went and did it. I'll be shocked. Really, I'll think you're lying. I'll know you're lying, and I'll know that I'll know what kind of personality type you are too. Right? And that's another thing. You've got to curate your circle. You've got to come do these endeavors with the most graduated people, because what a weakness for that person is a weakness for all now, that we're doing something with it. So we got to iron sharpens iron, keep each other tough. I've got a fitness program. I've got a psychology healing program. Nature and nutritional diversity diet healed me of extreme neurological damage, I would say. Not even psychological challenges. I mean, real deal. So I've got a lot of research on each one of those, and you can expand on those specific channels. And, you know, I just do hard truth and all real, and I'll never lie to you. You know, I'll just tell you what I find. I'll tell you if I don't know. I won't come on here and say there's no lives in love, and I'll never lie to you while I'm lying to you, okay? But there's people that will. There's people that will. So you've got to go to nature. Once again, you've got to go to nature, and you've got to build intuition. All right? You've got to really investigate and scrutinize everything you hear. And if you don't know something, you have to categorize it that way. I don't really know, but I know that this person says that. You know what I'm saying? And then you've got to really consider the source. Like, wow, okay, so this person says some bullshit, which is the most disrespectful thing you could say. You know what I mean? I'd rather you straight insult me than lie to me and try to hijack my reality, distracting me from my destiny, because there's just all there is truth and distraction from the truth. All right? These are things that you will find in nature. As Einstein says, pay deep attention to nature to understand everything better. He also says adaptability is the greatest measure of intelligence, and this is an opportunity to do some adaptation. Get with some people who are doing some incredible things and have some incredible ideas. Go for the gold, you know, and yeah, I'll put links below to the Bio Revolution series. I'm just gonna at least do the right thing and tell the truth, the best of my ability, and following an example of someone who did the same thing in the hardest of ways, at the hardest of times, and having the most incredible impact. I'll let you, if you can guess the person's name, put it in the comments below. And Rudolf Steiner's Biodynamic Agriculture, which is what I am a student of, also has that name written all over it a whole bunch of times. And I would say that anyone who's been out in nature starts to recognize there's a lot more than meets the eye going on out here, and the sterilized biologists coming out of the classroom with the iron shirt and all the memorizations of mouth sounds that some other man made up, and the expertise that they have in their being that comes from doing that, and have, hey, you can't walk to the top of the hill with me, you know? These health professionals, these biologists got us a health crisis. Diabetes off the charts, obesity off the charts, right? So why don't we pay attention to the nature people that actually have had their hand on the shovel for the last 15 ways, in insane ways. The last 15 years in insane ways, insane depths, insane relationship with the shovel, insane relationship with nature, that literally, and look at the rest of the videos on this channel, that literally indigenous chieftains respect highly. And you can come and walk around and meet them with me. There's one way to find out, and start to look into establishing this and be a part of the only truth right now. Of the only truth right now. And that is, we need to be living in the nature, away from the toxicity. We need to be supporting sustainable innovation, because the control freaks want to group us up, right? The control freaks want to keep you in the stable, right? But no, we can be free and sustainable and co-assistive, just like everything in nature. And now we even can make biological power centers that can combat risks that stuff like the Sean Ryan podcast about the electrical grid identifies. This answers it all. There's no more need for this climate change insanity. I'll put a link to Climate Change Insanity You Must See right now below. That came out just 17 hours ago, right? And let this be another pass along from your fellow journeyman here, okay? That I have found, man, you take what's in front of you and you try to figure out the solutions. You don't sit here and grass is greener on the other side land, thinking about things that don't exist and evils that are imaginary as well, okay? You pull if there's levers that you can pull them. Move on to where else you have levers. If there's no levers you can pull, you can't be emotionally tied to it. You know what I mean? So again, in fitness and in caring for nature and stewardship and respect and appreciation for our lives and all of that right there, it is absolutely paramount that we follow the grand teacher and stop following these knuckleheads, that we utilize the tools in which we can, and we pull the levers that we can to establish and innovate new freedoms and new democracies and new safeties with the right people, getting behind the right people. You know what I mean? And some of them might not be in the right positions until you make that nuclear cocktail with them, right? And that's been happening for me, and I'm very, very thankful for it. And if you think about it, that's all success ever is for anyone. That's all advancement ever is for anyone. And once you know what I have known and seen what I've seen after being in nature for 8 years, and if you think I'm wrong, just go to nature for 8 years first before you argue with me, right? After that, I can't really work for anything else. I can't work in another interest. I know this is the answer. I've received it like biblically, for lack of a better term. And none of these mouth sounds begin to describe any of this. But I know that anyone who follows my advice, my experience, my recommendations, my pass along from the fellow journeyman, they will be thankful about it in the coming days. I am sure about that. I will leave it there. I love you. I'm always thinking of you. In the name of Jesus Christ, humbly I pray, gratefully I pray, better word, gratefully, very gratefully, extremely gratefully, I pray that this message grips the right people and they're able to make the right moves at the right times. And I know that you were the most righteous and the biggest hand in all of this. So, please touch them. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. And I just also want to close by reminding us that when nature grows, it grows against resistance and towards the light, right? So if I have a species in the valley, it's weak, it doesn't get wind resistance, it might not even survive. But if I have this species at the top of the mountain peak, right, and it's getting all the wind resistance, it might not usually have bark on it, but this particular plant does have bark on it because it's built up to that resistance. And someone actually showed me that when I was a young person, and it stuck with me. And it's what we're doing in the gym when we build muscle. It's what plant fiber is doing when it gets broken, And so I just want to say that in the wholeness of things, a break isn't bad. A cancer isn't bad. And as my mastermind compadre says, AK, we can't blame you for falling down, but we can blame you for staying there. Society has got to be able to realize it stumbled down the wrong path a little bit, back up and take the right one. And it starts with you, and you can do it. And I believe in you, and I believe that after seeing this, it can be, or not after seeing this, this is the greatest thing a human can do right now. Have a wonderful day today, guys.